They weren't warned about the risks.
The more we found out about this, the more it's made us actually really quite angry.
When things went wrong, they weren't believed.
I listened to doctors who treated me as a hysterical parent and thought, well, I must be going mad.
Now a long-awaited review says many lives have been ruined because the health system didn't listen to women.
Mesh has robbed me of the person I used to be. My life is completely different.
The Baroness Cumberledge review focuses on the pregnancy test Primodos, the drug sodium valproate and pelvic mesh. This is the story of 3 health scandals and their devastating impact. It takes 270 pages to list the failings, the missed opportunities and the pain inflicted on tens of thousands of people. Baroness Cumberledge says all families affected deserve an immediate apology from the authorities and financial support. She's also made a list of several recommendations to prevent future harm and is adamant they'll happen. I hope you don't mind me asking this, but have you ever been suicidal?
Yes, yes. I am very lucky to be here, frankly, because we know that an awful lot of mothers aborted, or they had children born dead who were taken away from them and they never knew what had gone wrong, or their children lived a few years and then died, for example, from a heart condition. So I'm jolly lucky to be here, frankly.
I'm so scared to have the operation, but until I have it, I can't live my life the same way.
We want mesh implants banned!
The review has not recommended a complete mesh ban, something many campaigners wanted. Instead, it set out conditions which must be met before the pause can be lifted. Even then, it says mesh should be seen as a last resort.
Before that mesh is put in, the women should be told the truth of what can go wrong. And if it's still that it's a mesh that's put in for life, without being able to be taken out, it's in permanent, I think the patient should be really, really, really made aware of what that actually entails. If it hadn't been for the Victoria Derbyshire show, I wouldn't have had answers as to what was going wrong in my body.
The Baroness's review is focusing on vaginal mesh. How does that feel for someone like yourself, Ursula, who has had a hernia mesh?
Although I'm really overjoyed that it's highlighting vaginal mesh, I desperately want hernia mesh to be included.
Ursula has had 2 hernia mesh repairs, but experienced life-threatening complications after the implants attached to her bowels. She says doctors say the only way her large hernia can be fixed is by yet more mesh, a prospect she can't bear.
I go to bed on a night knowing that I've got nobody to fix me, and I wake up in the morning with no hope. So I've just got to keep, I wear bright colours, I cover myself up. And that's what they've done to me. They made me a freak. Sorry.
More and more people are trying an untested tanning drug.
So this is a nasal spray that I've been using recently, and this is the melanotan that has been helping me get darker.
But injecting or inhaling a substance called melanotan 2 is not as safe as sellers claim.
Oh my God. You just think, I won't get any side effects, I won't get skin cancer, it won't affect me. And then it did.
Our investigation has found dozens of influencers have promoted this illegal tanning drug to millions of followers. Only one would speak to us.
Like everybody was using the tanning injections or the nasal sprays, and it just seemed like a normal thing to do.
So did you know when you were given the products that they were illegal?
No.
Did you research the product?
Obviously at the time I didn't think much of it. Like everybody was using the tanning injections or the nasal sprays, and it just seemed like a normal thing to do.
Yeah, because obviously you do have young followers.
Yeah.
And if you're promoting something and then they're seeing you promote it, do you not think you have a responsibility to be checking?
Yeah, I do have a responsibility to check.
Feeling trapped in our homes is pretty common right now. Cut off from the world, isolated. But But people living in refuges during the coronavirus are experiencing a form of double lockdown. Most of them are women. Amber's husband was violent and abusive. She's scared to be identified. One day she decided she couldn't take it anymore. She grabbed her little boy, a bag, and fled.
I escaped a traumatic, controlling relationship where my husband was quite manipulating, and he always wanted to have an element of control in my life.
You left your partner before lockdown was put in place. Would you have had the strength to leave after?
I don't think I would have done it.
Life in a refuge is never going to be easy. How difficult is it though during lockdown?
I think it becomes 10 or 20 times harder for people like us because we're already in a predicament, and we've already got a lot of issues anyway.
We're calling this woman Jo. She'd been physically assaulted by her partner and came to the refuge before the coronavirus took hold. Her children would regularly stay with her, but since the lockdown they're not allowed, amid fears they could spread the virus amongst other residents.
I think everybody's down because everybody's life is on hold. Because coming here isn't meant to be the end. It's meant to just be a stepping stone to a better life. We all just feel like we're stuck.
Talk me through the moment you realised you weren't going to be able to see your children.
I was devastated. You're going to make me cry now thinking about it. Because they're very young. They're everything in my life, you know. There is no end in sight for all of this. I'm scared that how long will it be like this, you know? And not having the control of the situation, that is really scary.
Successful reality stars get free clothes, get to travel the world, and they're paid millions just for being themselves. So it's no wonder so many people, particularly young people, are attracted to the idea. We've been told by those in the industry that the quality of psychological support and aftercare can vary greatly. In some cases, it's said to be nothing more than a box-ticking exercise. A quick phone call, and that's it.
I'm Jessie Piazzi. You may have seen me on shows like X on the Beach and Celebrity Big Brother. Series 2 I felt was very organic. Series 5, on the other hand, was the opposite of that. I felt under pressure the minute I walked in that you had to hook up with someone. I had a producer say, "Lots of shagging tonight, please, girls," and that's when I thought, I need to leave now. Why would you be telling me to do that? Is this a porn set? Like, it just made me feel really cheap.
You've been quite critical of some of the producers that you've worked with. I suppose some would argue that you're paid a fee, that you know what this show is about. What would you say to that?
Yeah, we know what the show's about, but I've never said to them, "Oh yes, I'm going to come on your show and behave in that way." I go on because they liked me as a person, you know.
In a statement, WizKid Entertainment said,
"Contributor care is very important to us. Before production, we ensure a support structure is in place and all cast members are carefully interviewed and screened before going on camera."
Hello, my name is Carly, and you might know me from The Valleys. There was never, any pressure to ever have sex or anything. There was never pressure to drink. My mum passed away during the day that the second episode aired in the second series. She passed away at home, peacefully with all the family. She was, my best friend. She was my mum and my dad for the majority of my life.
Looking back to the darkest period of her life, Carly believes she wasn't strong enough to work. Yet she says she did filming a day after her mum's death.
They were on schedule to get it finished, and obviously if that hadn't have been aired, I would have felt like I'd be letting all the cast down as well. So I did feel under pressure to get it done.
I told a TV psychologist about what happened with you and your mum, and she said that she couldn't comment on an individual case, but she said in a situation like that, she would want an independent psychologist to have a private chat with a person before continuing with filming. Did that happen with you?
Not at all, no.
Did anyone speak to you?
No. Such a difficult time, and I was only 22, so I think they should have looked after me, and they didn't, so.
There'll be people who are watching who literally have no sympathy for reality TV stars. What would you say to them?
Just that, I understand that when you sign up to, a programme like the Valleys, that you put yourself out there, but given the recent losses with Mike and Sophie, I think that something really has to change, because reality TV is not going anywhere. And so if it's not going anywhere, then something has to be put in place.
True North says it's constantly reviewing its duty of care practices and will continue to do so after hearing about Carly's concerns.